that you mean to spend. It's a vibrational currency. In other words, there are things that money can't buy. There are things that action can't accomplish. There are things that vibrational alignment and your focus can accomplish. That's a vibrational currency. And the nice thing about beginning to focus this vibrational currency is that you all have equal access to it. So any negative expectations that you might have garnered about yourself don't apply to this vibrational currency. Now, think about it. If what we're saying is true, and it is, you can prove it out with your own life experience. And let's say that you've been getting up every morning and deliberately getting on a high-flying disc. And at first, it didn't come easily, so you didn't do a very good job of it. But you were committed to it. You understood the value of it, and you did it. And now your life is beginning to reflect your more steady alignment. And now a friend that you know is often not on a high-flying disc says, I'm going to come and spend some time with you. I want to wake up in the morning and have conversations with you. Wouldn't you want to say, In other words, how selfishly determined are you to stay on your high-flying disc? And this is the thing that we want you to do with your own thoughts, because it's really not people barging into your experience that are taking you down. It's your own willingness to activate thoughts that don't represent you as well as they could. And in a discussion like this is an interesting thing that we're saying to all of you, because you've driven your distance, you've come on the train, you've paid your money, you've left your family's home, you've done whatever that you needed to do in order to be here, because you have questions that you want to ask, and we say, be careful about what you ask. Is it going to stay on the high-flying disc? But that's what step 4 is. Step 4 is understanding and wanting to maintain the vibrational frequency that you now have access to. Because everybody has a high-flying moment. The question is, do you sustain it? Everybody has access to things that feel good. The question is, do you do it deliberately? Are you a deliberate creator, or are you a creator by default? That's the question, you see. Your perception of that gap is all that matters. In other words, you can think that thought which feels bad and takes you off your disc. That's like saying, okay, Abraham, I got on the high-flying disc, but my family isn't, so now I'm not either. Okay, I got on the high-flying disc, but my family isn't, so I'm not either. And we say, after a while, you're going to say, I'm on my high-flying disc, and my blessed family, bless their hearts, doing the best that they know how to do, are finding their way too. Whole different conversation. In fact, I'm there so often that I now see positive aspects of them. I saw a sunset in my father's eyes that I've never seen before. I'm hearing music come out of my family that I didn't know they were singing, because I'm listening with a different frequency. And they are more spiritual than I've been willing to give them credit for, because I've been evaluating the results rather than staying tuned to the frequency. You are tuners, you see. You're either joining them or they're joining you, but getting there and staying there, we can't even really have a conversation that's very satisfying to you unless you have gotten there and stayed there long enough to really know your own power. Because the conversation is pretty common. I felt good, and then you came. And I give you responsibility for how I now feel. So I'd like you to go to therapy. So that I can feel better. Oh, but when you discover that you can stay on your disc no matter where they are, because you've practiced it. Not because they're doing the things that keep you there. There are those things out in the world too. That's what your non-physical compadres are lining up for you. They'll show you the sunset. They'll get you on the train at the perfect moment. They'll sit you next to someone that has something meaningful to say to you. They'll show you something in a mall that you have not seen before. They'll guide your eyes. They'll help you sift from this plethora of information and facts and vibration. They'll light up the things that are good for you. But you're the one that has to go there, you see. And so once you've accomplished it, don't you want to afford everybody else in your life the same benefit of finding it too? If you feel uncomfortable, your energy is split, period, and it doesn't have anything to do with anybody but you. And it isn't a conversation of anything except your ability to focus. And the more of them who are on lower flying discs that present themselves to you in ways to give you an opportunity to stay on your high flying disc anyway, the more opportunity you have and the more likelihood you are to be there no matter what. That's what unconditional love is. I love because that's who I am. You, in whatever you're living, are not going to take me from my unconditional love because I'm so practiced at it. I've practiced it when you weren't here. I've practiced it when I was alone. I've practiced it under easy conditions. I've practiced it under more difficult conditions, but I've got this. I'm tuned in, tapped in, turned on. I'm source energy in a physical body, and now I'm willing and ready to engage with everyone. And until then, I'm hiding from anybody on a lower flying disc because I'm not sure where I'll end up. It's a sort of stalemate, isn't it? If you were different, I'd feel different. 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 Till finally you just got to say, kill me now. I want to feel good, and I don't want to have to live in a rabbit hole to feel good. I don't want to have to isolate myself from every possible, I don't want to have to turn off the television. I want to be inspired to turn it on at the right moment. I don't want to have to hide from the world. I want to be inspired to the place to go. And we are here to tell you that there is a cadre of non-physical intelligence that knows right where everything you want is and where you are in relationship to it. And if you'll hang around up there a little while, you'll be guided to it. And then you'll feel worthy. Step 4 means having spent at least 30 days deliberately getting on the high-flying disc and knowing when you are and knowing when you're not, and being able to control being on there because you choose to. Esther said, Abraham, I refuse to accept that if I fall off, that I have to wait until tomorrow morning to get back on. Because you've given us enough processes that I know that I can meditate and stop the momentum, or I can do a focus wheel and enhance the momentum that I mean to. I like focusing in this high-flying energy. I like it. And then she began to realize that, and this is the step 4 basis. If you are sloppy in your thinking, which you are not, then you could be rendezvousing with all kinds of different people on all kinds of different discs because you're sort of all over the place. But once you start deliberately being in that high-flying place and recognizing that you are, and deliberately thinking thoughts that hold you there, then you can relax as you are doing in a sort of reasonable assumption that everyone with whom you're interacting is meeting you on that level. So 2 things happen. First, your point of attraction is already in place, but your conscious, focused expectation is there too. Esther has been saying to a friend, I feel step 4 coming. I can feel that Abraham's going to start talking about step 4, because step 1 is sift through the contrast and come to an asking, a desire. Step 2 is source and law of attraction, gather all of the cooperative components in this, what we've been calling a vortex, which you may or may not have access to depending upon what you're doing vibrationally. And step 3 is adjust your vibration to make sure that you are in resonance with what you are asking for. So now that you are beginning to hang around on that high-flying disc deliberately, Esther is saying, I'm becoming a sort of vibrational snob. And she doesn't mean that she doesn't want to hang around with other people. She means she doesn't want to hang around with other thoughts. She wants to control the thoughts, because the thought of clarity is so much more life-giving than the thought of confusion. And she's just choosing that thought first, not always accomplishing it, but wanting it at all times. And so she's wondering what's next. So step 1 was sort of dealing with contrast. And step 2 is not my work, because law of attraction and source are dealing with all of that. And step 3 is my work, because I've got to tune myself. I'm the one that has to find the vibrational resonance. But then what? And we say, then you lay some new pipes. Then you think some new thoughts on purpose. Then you begin visualizing deliberately. Then you begin focusing. Then you begin utilizing this energy that you have amassed, that you can feel at your back. Then you begin deliberately directing that energy. Of course, being aware at all times about when you start to take a little dip and then not doing it, when you might start to take a little dip and then not doing it. Yeah. All right, we're going to give you the succinct, accurate, easy to apply version. You are source energy in a physical body. And some of the thoughts that you think now that you're in this physical body don't allow the source that you really are to flow through you. And when that happens, you don't feel good. So stop doing that. Law of attraction won't really let you stop doing that all of a sudden, because law of attraction is bringing to you other thoughts that are like that. So you can't stop all of a sudden, but you can start doing something else. You are born with a guidance system that lets you know whether you are allowing the energy that creates worlds to flow through you unfettered in full-blown fashion, or whether you're pinching it off. So it's important that you begin right now to care about how you feel. It's really important that the way you feel be your top priority. Not just the way you feel about what others are doing, but the way you feel within the thoughts that you are thinking. You are going to be able to tell the difference between a thought that you are thinking that hinders you and a thought that you are thinking that gives you life and supports you. You're going to get so good at being able to feel the dynamics of the thought when it's active within you that you're going to find yourself wanting to feast your mind on thoughts. Esther was standing in the garden in Del Mar the other day, looking at some beautiful succulents that had been planted a while before. And they were just catching hold. They were coming into their own. And one of them was the most beautiful thing that she had ever seen. And she's seen a lot of things, but she has not been devouring things with her eyes. She's been looking at the garden rather than looking at the garden. And on this day, she was looking at this beautiful plant. And she felt the words formulate right in her mind. I'm feasting on the beauty of this. It was like she didn't want to let go of it. It was like there was nothing in all of the world, no more important thing to do in this moment in time than to let this beautiful object of her attention just refresh her and refuel her. And as she stood there and looked at it and felt life sort of flowing through her, she thought, and this is what we're wanting to give to you, there is nothing other than this moment in time ever. And you get to choose whether you're feasting your eyes or whether you're frittering it away on thoughts that are not worthy of the focus of your mind, you see. But in order to do that, that was so good. But in order to do that, you've got to practice, because you're not just all of a sudden going to start seeing the world through the eyes of Source. You've got to practice your way into that a little bit at a time. It will feel so natural to you. Every time you feel exhilaration, you're right there. Stop and milk it and talk about what you were feeling exhilaration about it. Write it down, tell others about it. And every time you feel a diminishment in your emotion, don't tell anyone about it and don't write it down. Don't blog about it. Don't keep it going. You, as an extension of Source energy, your work here in this physical body, exploring and expanding, and most important of all, the joy that you are able to discover and align with in this process. Because not one of you said, I'll go forth and fix something that's broken. I'll go forth and put this world back on track. I'll go forth and make a name for myself. I'll go forth and everyone will follow me into the place of perfection. Not one of you said anything like that. Instead, you said, I'm a creator, and I have the wind of creation at my back, and Source adores me and is flowing to me and through me. And I have the ability and the right to choose from among everything I see, those things that I would like to flow my creative attention toward. And when I do, in resonance with the Source within me, that energy will flow to me and through me for the fulfillment of my desires. And the world will expand as a result of my focus here. That's really what you said. You didn't say, I'll decide who's right on this issue, and I'll join them against them. You did not say, I will sift through all of the data, I will put the results of life in piles, and I will acknowledge that is a good pile and that is a bad pile. That pile is right and that pile is wrong. Not one of you said, I'll use the wrong pile to push against, because you knew if you pushed against what you considered to be wrong, that you wouldn't push it away, you wouldn't exclude it from your experience.